Goodbye! Goodbye, everyone! Star! Hey! What do you mean? Star?
Wait. What? This? What the heck? What? Why are they? This is not the ending! Are you freaking serious? Do you know how many months it takes for animation? Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Star vs. the Forces of Evil analysis video that I'm very upset to talk about. There are just so many friggin' questions that need to be answered, and we have to wait for another season for it to be revealed, I guess. But let's not waste any more time, people. It's time to get straight into the episode. And what else would I be talking about other than the season finale episode itself, named STARCRUSHED? And if you haven't seen part 1 of my finale analysis where I break down the synopsis for Face the Music, then here's a link right here, and if you haven't seen it, then click on it and I'll give you a couple seconds. And with all that being said, let's get straight into the analysis video. So basically, we got back from where we left off from the last episode. The relationship between Star and Marco is still super awkward, and they occasionally try to avoid each other. So after jolting away from Marco, Star calls her friends up and discusses the whole situation with them inside her room. And Star Fan 13 was already there because she's a creep. But then it skips right over to another part of the story for Queen Butterfly, and that's with her and the High Commission. They head back in Ludo's location so that way they can raid the castle. And when they do, they interrupt the rats' corn eating competition, and so there they are just running across the castle. They barge in like a boss into the other doors, which eventually leads them to a room where the bird is feeding the spider, which is just, that's what the heck. But then my girl Heckapoo gets her dimension scissors and sends them to a different place throughout the town. So without them guarding in the way, they go up to Ludo and they actually like throw him on the floor, you know, they freeze him in place so that way he can't move around. Of course Romulus basically does all of this, but you know what I mean. And of course Ludo wakes up, he's like, what's going on? Why are you guys, you know, taking me out of bed? I'm trying to sleep, you know? And they're like, you know what you did. He's like, I seriously have no idea what the freak is going on. And then Queen Butterfly's like, you know what's up, where's Glossaric? And then Ludo's like, oh, him? Yeah, he's gone. I don't know where he is, but he's gone. And of course, to make this scene ever so more captivating, they go back to where Star is. Basically a scene where Star's friends are gathered around in her room and they start talking about Marco. They seem to all have already noticed that Star has a crush on Marco, especially Ponyhead since she's the one that's witnessed them together the most. Of course, Star denies them, but come on, whatever. They eventually convince her to go to the dangerous bash that they were mentioning before in the synopsis, and so she sort of agrees. I mean, to be perfectly fair, she was really dragged into it. We finally push back into the scene where we see Ludo and the High Commission together. And as it turns out, it's true. Ludo has absolutely no idea what the heck is going on. And from what it appears, it seems like the wand doesn't work as well either. So without any hope in finding Glossaric, the High Commission decide to leave. Except Moon Butterfly, who decides to stay with Ludo and discuss about his family. But don't worry, we'll get back to that. So we go back to the part of the story where we see Star going with her friends to the bash, which is, by the way, full of interesting people, I guess. She's asked to celebrate the end of the school year by throwing paper in the fire, you know, like your math quizzes, which you failed on, stuff like that. Of course, Star gets bored of it easily because, you know, she doesn't really do homework anyways, so she's like, meh. But then before she tries to leave, Oscar catches her in the moment, who still has his awesome eyes, but you know that Star still isn't as interested as she once was. So then we go back to Marco and how he's experiencing things, and he's just in the backyard, you know, drinking some punch or whatever it is. Jackie eventually catches up with him and, you know, starts conversing with him and trying to cheer him up. And to be straightforward, Jackie isn't a bad person at all. She then asks Marco for some, like, pizza nuggets or something like that, and so he's like in the kitchen or whatever, and his dad's all, where's your partner in crime? You know, that Star girl, not Jackie, but Star. And then Marco's like, you know, it's awkward between me and her, and I don't even know where she is. And then his dad finally says the most obvious point in a teenager's life that makes it awkward.
What could be weird? Two teenagers sharing a home? One boy, one girl? Oh no.
Wow. I wonder why he didn't think of that when he first invited Star over to live with them. But it gets better when his father tries to cheer him up, but then he kicks him out to make more pizza nuggets. I guess he doesn't want anyone to figure out his secret ingredient. Perhaps it's putting his foot inside of it. And then it comes back to the story with Queen Butterfly and Ludo talking. And Ludo's past was pretty sad. Like when he was a kid, the whole entire house just burned down. And then they ended up having to live outside. So Queen Butterfly explains to him that Dennis misses him. And not only is he worried about Ludo, but so is Queen Butterfly herself. And still, this is very interesting because we never get to see Ludo and Queen Butterfly interact with each other before. So she closes in on Ludo and asks him if there's anything that she can do to help. We later catch up on what Star is doing, which is pretty much her talking with Oscar and hanging out with him. The main conversation being about his music. And coming from my personal perspective, I believe that Oscar is a complete airhead. It's not really because of the fact that he dropped out of school to pursue his music. It's the darn fact that he's terrible at playing the guitar slash, you know, piano, whatever it is he's playing. Pretty sure that's a toy instrument for kids, but he's just spinning it around and around his waist, which by the way nearly hits Star across the face, and then it finally detaches from off of the belt, and then this happens.
You think maybe it'll end up on Mars?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, Mars is pretty far away.
What are you saying?
Oh, no. I mean, yeah, maybe it'll end up on Mars.
You see, Star, that's what I like most about you. You always believed in me.
Like, okay, what? Okay, first of all, why is he so defensive whenever Star denied him? And secondly, like, where the heck is this guy's brain? But Star just goes along with it, and Oscar asks for a fist bump, which Star gets wrong, but Oscar blushes too. It will be quite interesting if Star begins to not like Oscar anymore, while Oscar instead is the one who persists to like Star. I'm confident that's what's gonna happen in season 3. And finally, we get back into an event that's definitely worth waiting for. The High Commission is on the verge of finding Glossaric throughout the castle. The Chancellor seems to have found the book, but the pages are blank.
That's not the real book.
So without any help of finding the pages or Glossaric himself, they actually search throughout the castle again, and they find this.
Ludo?
Ludo's not here right now, but if you'd like, you can leave a message.
Wow. Well then, I guess there was a reason for why there was a skeleton arm of Toffee. We are presented with a battle scene between the High Commission and Queen Butterfly go against Toffee. And I must admit, the animation and just the battle itself, it was really impressive to see. And unfortunately, even with the might of the High Commission themselves, they still cannot go against Toffee. Even my girl Hekapoo. No. Yeah, but in the end, they all begin to fail and their powers are all drained and stuff. And when their powers are drained, remember, they all have this black eye, which was something that was in the episode The Page Turner. And plus, this would explain the magic Fritz from the same exact episode. So remember, don't panic, they're not dead or anything, the magic is just being synced out of them. Which is why we were able to see Toffee with Omnitrax's flight ability. That was him absorbing his powers. And admittedly, the thing that almost got me teared up was the part where the Chancellor sacrifices his energy for Queen Butterfly. It reminded me of one of the scenes from the movie Kung Fu Panda, when the turtle Master Oogway passes away from Earth. Who else thought of that? And so this wakes up Queen Butterfly, but as she's trying to get the Chancellor back together, Toffee appears behind her, and so they clash between each other. And the music worked perfectly for this scene. Like, they were just going at it. They were just and then they had their like magic swords at each other. They're like but anyways, yeah, I freaking loved it. Don't know if you could tell or not. And one thing to realize is that we haven't seen Moon in this state in a while since the episode Game of Flags. So it was cool to see her in this form while she was fighting. And as Toffee and Moon Butterfly come to an impasse, she does her best to make sure the High Commission are safe and put them through a portal. And before Moon herself can leave through the portal, Toffee says something that we need to hear.
Tell Star I'm coming for my finger.
Huh, quite interesting. You know what, this gives me an idea. And from the looks of it, I think I have figured out some of Toffee's plan. Number 1, force Star to use the whispering spell onto the wand, so that way my soul and part of my body can go on a different piece of the wand. Number 2, hope and pray that somebody actually picks up that piece of the wand so that way I can survive. Oh yeah, and hopefully Star has the other piece of the wand because that's where my finger is. Number 3, convince that person to steal the book of spells. Number 4, ask them to go to the book of spells part of the pages where the dark spells are. Number 5, use the dark spell so that I may absorb whoever touches the wand. And since the wand is technically my arm, I can use it to regenerate as well. Ooh, and number 6. By now, since Glossaric has most likely taken the finger out of Star's wand, it's probably lying somewhere around the house in the Diaz family. It's the one thing that clearly doesn't belong to Star, which was actually revealed in the episode Into the Wand. And number 7, because of that, I will plot my revenge starting at that location. And I know where the Marco boy is because it's the same place I kidnapped him from in the episode Storm the Castle. Boom, you're welcome. I just figured out the season 3 beginning synopsis for the next episode premiere. Where's my reward? And yeah, I know I sort of went ahead with the story by using some of the clips, but don't worry, we're still gonna continue on with the synopsis. Star seems to be having some fun with Oscar apparently, and she even manages to do some spells that nearly kills everyone. But yeah, she's having a good time, so they head back to the Diaz family's house. After Star got all that cleared up, she decided to talk to Marco again, and this time about her feelings. Oh, and let's not forget about the fact that Marco ditches his own girlfriend for about the 3rd time in their relationship. And when he ditched her, he left her hanging. Star supposedly opens up to Marco about how she feels about him and says that she didn't really have a crush on him, even though in her song it totally says the exact opposite of that. So Star troops upstairs and goes in her room and notices a big dimension portal in her room. Her mother explains to Star that Toffee has returned and so she has to leave back to Muni. Star asks for 2 more minutes so she can talk to Marco. So instead of just walking up to Marco and talking to him like a normal person, she shouts his name in the middle of a party. So everyone's just standing there staring at them, and this is the part where Star actually does open up to him.
I do have a crush on you. Oh, who called it? I called it. Boom. I called it. I didn't want to admit it because I know you don't feel the same way. And I thought if I just pretended the feelings weren't there, they'd go away. But they haven't. I have to leave Earth, probably forever, and I couldn't go without telling you the truth. Goodbye!
She finally admits that she has a crush on him. So the fandom goes crazy. They're like, yeah, STARCO lives! And StarFan13 is a perfect imitation of everyone's reaction to this. Don't act like you didn't pass out after seeing this scene. Or you were probably like Ponyhead and you were like, I already knew. It's kind of obvious. And let's not even dare forget about the Diaz parents' reaction. They're all like, oh crap, we just made a mistake. And Jackie's just zoned out like, And then Star continues her conversation with Marco, explaining that if she didn't tell him the truth now, she would feel guilty on her way back to Muni. And the thing about it is, she assumes that Marco didn't have the same feelings for her, but notice that he never really got too much of a word in. He just had to chase after her upstairs. And by the way, he was already too late, so yeah. Oh, and there we go again, him ditching his girlfriend. And notice Jenna's eyes throughout this entire scene. She's sort of just checking up on Jackie to see how she's reacting to all of this. Jackie hasn't said a single word from now, and she has been nice to Marco trying to get back with Star as a friend. So what the heck is gonna happen in season 3? Are they gonna have some conflict between each other? Maybe there's gonna be an episode where Marco keeps mentioning Star and that he misses her so much, and then they'll eventually break up. Because I can totally see that happening, and eventually Jackie's just gonna get fed up with it. Seeing Marco leave her for that many times in a row in their relationship probably will be a complete turnoff for her. And remember, even though we weren't shown the closet and the rest of the room that Star left behind, there's still one thing there that didn't belong to Star, and it's going to be a major impact plot for the next episode of Star versus the Forces of Evil. Whenever the heck that's going to be. Oh, would you look at that? Season 3 is coming this summer, and there's a 4th season already to be scheduled in 2018. It's official. My life is complete. But yeah, with all jokes aside, I love the episode, and I really thumbs up, Disney. Like, really thumbs up. You guys have been doing an amazing job giving us shows like this, and just keep up the good work. And as for you TNBT viewers out there, thank you so much for supporting this episode. It took me a while to do this analysis video, and celebrating Starvery month throughout this channel has been like freaking insane. I don't think I've ever made so many videos in a single month in my entire life. Yeah, so this is the longest video I've ever done, I believe. But yeah, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace! Oh, and by the way, there still was not a single moment throughout the episodes where we saw this clip, so I guess that was just for promotional reasons.